slavery and injustice from the British could not have been possible without our freedom fighters and the brave Jawans who fearlessly fought. Freedom is never dear at any price. It is the breath of life. What would a man not pay for living? This is a wonderful quote by Mahatma Gandhi. It states that freedom is the most essential thing in life and there is no cost for it that can be paid. A person can do anything to achieve his freedom. Many freedom fighters like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahatma Gandhi, Bhagat Singh, and Mangal Pandey have martyred their lives so that our nation is free from such an unequal social system. Until today, many brave fighters and soldiers are still protecting us from many other nations by putting their lives on the line so that we could be with our families and be home safe at the end of the day. It is our duty now to carry the spirit forward, that is, the sense of equality, respect for everyone, kindness, honesty, and compassion. With this thought, let us proceed with our weekly challenge. Speech is power. Speech is to persuade, to convert, to compel. Now I welcome T.M. Preeti to deliver her public speech.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Thank you. A warm good evening to one and all present here. I hope everyone is well and doing good. I'm Taskmaster Preeti. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this weekly challenge as today's theme is an enthralling, inspirational, and patriotic one. So, what is the day tomorrow? Can anyone please unmute and tell me?
Independence Day.
Yeah, we are celebrating our 75th Independence Day tomorrow. A patriotic day when everyone feels proud to be an Indian. We celebrate it for remembering the sacrifices made by the freedom fighters, citizens, and political leaders to free the motherland. Every year, the celebration of Independence Day is honored with greatness, fervor, and enthusiasm. But amid the novel coronavirus spread, it is important to follow certain preventive measures. This day is significant as it stands as a reminder of the sacrifices that many freedom fighters made to get independence from British rule. It is a national holiday and it is usually observed throughout the nation with the hoisting of the tricolor, parades, and cultural events. The armed forces and different organizations of the Ministry of Defense will be conducting various events across the country to commemorate the 75th anniversary of India's independence, being celebrated as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So here I would like to list out few contributions we can make to make our country a better one. So first, I have to start with stop littering around. We should not we should take care of our nation by being environment friendly. Likewise, we have to help support a child's education. We should stop participating in corruption and be better neighbors. Because this corona lockdown showed us that we are the people who can take care of ourselves. Our family, our neighbors are for us. We have to pledge to donate our organs, blood, and also we have to help those in need. We have to get out and vote. And I have to mention a surprise gift for this 75th Independence Day. Can anyone think of it? We were talking about it for the past 2 weeks. It's a trending one too, so far. Can anyone guess it? What is that surprise gift for our Independence Day? Any guess? Okay, I'll give a clue. It is related to sports.
An Olympic gold medal.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we won many medals here. Firstly, I would like to mention Mr. Neeraj Chopra, who won gold medal. Then Ms. Mirabai Chanu and Mr. Ravi Kumar Dahiya won silver medals. Mr. Bajrang Punya and Ms. Lolinia Burgohain 1 bronze medals, Miss PV Sindhu, 1 bronze medal, and Mr. Deepak Punya won 5th place, Miss Aditi Ashok won 4th place, and in men's hockey we won bronze medal, and in women's hockey we won 4th place. So Neeraj Chopra's historic athletics gold medal made him become second ever individual Olympic gold medalist. And this year, this Independence Day year, has quenched our thirst for gold medal in Olympics after 13 years. And that is what I would like to mention it as a surprise gift because it made us to feel proud and of course the pride of the nation. Our national anthem is being played in Tokyo Olympics after 13 years. So, what I would like to tell here to end is to take an oath of building our nation, improving the resources, and servicing the world to make a better nation and to be a better nation. Thank you for this opportunity. Stay safe, stay happy.
That was a really amazing speech. TM Preeti very well explained how our freedom fighters sacrifice and what are our responsibilities to make our nation a more better one. We lose ourselves in books, we find ourselves there too. Reading is a solitary activity, but there's a lot to be said for sharing the joy, thrills, and disappointments that can be found in a book. Let me welcome TM Maitri Akka to give a review on the book she read.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, Akka, you're audible.
Okay, please give me a moment. I'll present my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Akka, it's visible.
Yes, Akka, it's visible. Okay, then I'll start. So, very good evening to everyone present here. Thank you all so much for coming to our very special weekly challenge, which is just before Independence Day. So, when I thought of what sort of book I could review for Independence Day, this very special one came across my downloads, and it's an extremely special one because it's not a normal book, it's a comic. So I'm going to be reviewing a comic by the publication Amar Chitrakatha, which has published Tinkle, which I'm pretty sure many of us would have read a lot in our childhood. And the title of the comic is Rabindranath Tagore. So before I start, what do you all know about Rabindranath Tagore? Can anyone give a few points that you know about Rabindranath Tagore? Any facts or anything that you know? He has a very major contribution for the song that is to be sung tomorrow when the flag is going to be hoisted. So, any guesses? All right. So, Rabindranath Tagore, he has penned our national anthem, Janagana Mana. It's a very patriotic song, and this wonderful personality is the lyricist behind it. So now this is the background of the book. It comes under the category of comics. The publisher is Amar Chitrakatha, and it has three key people behind it. The script was done by Kayanaksha Banerjee. The illustrations in the comic is done by Saudan Roy, and the editor of the entire comic is Anant Pai. So this is the beautiful cover of the comic. And now I'm giving you a short synopsis of the comic. So it describes Rabindranath Tagore's life, which starts from him being a very curious, imaginative boy who doesn't really like the normal rote learning. And that boy blossoms and matures into a brilliant and gentle visionary who played an immense role in our freedom fight. What sets him apart is his ability to change grievances and joy of the people he sees into highly relatable and soul-touching works of Bengali literature. And he was given a knighthood. He is actually supposed to be called Sir Rabindranath Tagore, but then he gave up his knighthood after some time. But even after that, and even after receiving the Nobel Prize for his English translation of the beautiful book Gitanjali, pride never spoiled his personality and his purity. He always stood firm in his vision and he never swayed, no matter how much praise or money came his way. So, where is the comic set? It's set mostly in West Bengal and during his entire lifetime, which is the period between 1867 to 1947. So, this is one of the beautiful illustrations. The book itself is an entirely beautifully done work of art. So here, this is a depiction of young Rabindranath Tagore. So now he was not really a naughty boy, but then if his parents or if his caretakers needed some time to get their work done, they would ask him to sit near this window. They would draw a circle around him and tell him that if he dares cross that circle, something bad is going to happen to him. Rabindranath believed it because at that young age, obviously, whatever caretakers tell you, we will believe it. And he would sit beside this window, look outside it, and imagine how nice it would be to be a bird, to be the breeze. And from this depiction, we can see very clearly what a sensitive and sweet person he is. And here is the early stages of Shanti Niketan. Shanti Niketan is again a very important contribution of Rabindranath Tagore to Indian education system because it is a very unique sort of education that is provided over here and it stands firm even today as a heritage site. And this is the Nobel Prize winning book, Gitanjali, which Rabindranath Tagore first wrote in Bengali and then he was asked to translate it to English by an English poet, and that English translation won him the Nobel Prize. So here are there are many inspiring quotes of Rabindranath Tagore, but these two are the ones that I found to be extremely inspiring. If no one responds to your call, then go on your way alone. If nobody is there to support you, you need to stand up and support yourself. You need to believe in your vision first before expecting others to believe in you. And the second one, read books when you're free, read minds when you're not, but do read. So, from here, what he wants to convey is we must enhance our knowledge by reading literature, and we must enhance our street smartness by observing people and reading people's minds. But whatever we do, we should never keep our mind idle. And this is a photograph of Rabindranath Tagore at the age of 70. He clearly doesn't look 70, but then this is what the photo says his age was. And this is present day Shantiniketan, his beautiful legacy, the school of Shantiniketan, which is currently a heritage site. So, what is the comics or the book's main message? So, first of all, it is an glimpse into the life of Rabindranath Tagore himself. And throughout the book, you can see how him being a sensitive person, it is never a weakness but a superpower. It helps us appreciate even the little things of life and makes us create amazing ideas with just a small spark. So, if one wishes to change the world, one must accept and welcome the possibility of being misunderstood by the world till the change occurs. So, this was my review of the comic Amar Chitrakatha, and the reason why I decided to go for a comic today instead of books is because I wanted to introduce the idea that reading is not always difficult. Reading English books is never difficult, and you can have simpler formats such as comics to start your habit of reading. Thank you.
That was a wonderful review. Gave a nice synopsis of the book and narrated some of his real life incidents and about his contribution to Shantiniketan and ended with a nice message. It was a more formal session till now, and so now let us break the ice by playing a small game. The game is similar to connection game, but on account of Independence Day, I've taken the pictures related to the major events that took place before Independence. So now I'll present my screen. If all are ready to play the game, can you please put all ready in the chat box? Your response. So now let me present my screen. Is my screen visible? Screen. You have to find the event.
Yes, visible already. Yeah, it's visible, Raghavi.
No? Okay. So anyone knows the answer for the first one?
Jallianwala Bagh.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Dundee March.
Yeah. Third one.
Revolt of 1857.
என்ன புரியல?
Revolt of
Yeah,
1857.
yeah, you are right. This is the next one. ಯಾರು ready?
Swadeshi.
Uh, it's actually the non-cooperation movement. Sorry, disconnect ஆச்சு. எப்போ டிஸ்கனெக்ட் ஆச்சு?
ஸ்வதேஷி மூமெண்ட்டுக்கு அப்புறம் இந்த ஸ்டைல் தெரியும்.
Sorry, I'm having a network problem over here. So now let's go to the science facts. The science of today is the technology of tomorrow. Without any further delay, let us hear some interesting facts from TM Vijay. Now, பேசுறது
Yes,
கேட்டுச்சா?
கேக்குது.
So
Yes, it's
let's
audible.
welcome Vijay to give the scientific facts.
Happy evening to all. Is it visible to all? My screen?
Yes, visible.
Okay. Uh, Happy evening to all. Today I'm going to talk about topic is the science fact in this second weekly challenge hashtag two. Let before I go to the topic, let me introduce myself. I'm Taskmaster Vijay, Department of Civil Engineering. Now I'm currently studying third year. So let's go to the topic without wasting the time. Why chips packs look big, but it had a low chips? So a lot of questions are asking and rising in your mind. Why it's sad? Because the reason is the nitrogen gas has long been used in food package industries to help to preserve or protect the flesh's integrities and the quality of the delivery product. And and some people says they were watching the movie and also saying eating all the chips as I say my chips is not a and there's also some finished some says other people says it's not working that but Lace is gonna finish and says it's a company fault and it's company is cheating us some chips is put only the 10 chips is put in that bands fill up the gas or nitrogen gas line so there are scroll about the company so this type of the people is didn't know about how nitrogen gas are filled in because of the product. And another one reason is the climate condition play a major role in the chips. So that's the reason they're chip like that. And our packages containing these means shows different. These branches are not in India, right? Only the lace is there, and our product contain only around the 25 percentage, and she says 30 percentage, and she says 40 percentage. And actually, the lace is you are getting chips is very cheap, but lace does not contain any chips. These are chips that contain much more, but these contain the less. So that's the reason there are memes like that. And next we want to say the topic is why gold is a high value. So it's exactly found on 3,000 years ago, and gold does not lose its character, right? Whenever when go to the outside, my mom was always telling me, keep your eye, look on your gold chain and gold ring, because of someone stole that. So, and keep your friends overhand that gold. So that's the reason why they are just rolling, because of that it was expensive, right? So that's the reason my mom showed that. And the silver coin and gold coins will be rust, and it's tanned to the black due to the heat, body heat. It will be tanned to the black, and sometimes the reason why all kings is to make gold their property, always make the loyal kings is make gold into the crowns and ornamental and the shoes. These things is attracted to common people, poor people. So poor people thought gold is a very expensive. So that's the reason that a lot of people just thought gold is expensive. Now its rate is very high to market. Next, again, one fact is a Coca-Cola fact. Coca-Cola is a very dangerous cool drinks. However, we can drink in a lot of malls, but it is one of the dangerous cool drink. It is a recent fact memes. So the during the press meeting, Ronaldo has refused Coca-Cola to put the two bottle into the another place and hold yeah, aqua. Aqua means water is a Greek word, and says drink aqua. And actually, he was one of the old sponsor Coca-Cola brand ambassador. And another one is when Coca-Cola was born, they mixed with the truck is called the cocaine. So cocaine, cola, coca. These words are the simple, similar and light. So that the reason that this word is coming from the Coca-Cola. So and another thing is the classic Coca-Cola contain, as we see, a huge amount of the sucrose. So if sucrose a man human body says it consume a lot of sucrose, it leads to diabetes. Some Western countries we can see they are the fat, so that the reason is they are working out and a lot of things is doing. So the reason is they are assuming a lot of inherent, but it's not important for that. They are only consuming Coca-Cola, Pepsi, that type of digest food. So that's the reason is that they leads to diabetes. So that's the reason is that they try to avoid all the Coca-Cola in India. So polar bear fact. So polar bear furies. Fury is nothing but it is a meaning in Tamil Romam. It's actually the transparent. Uh, whenever the man seeing the helicopter from down in the snow, it's actually polar bear is not visible. Why means it was invisible. The layer of the white, it's snow is white. Polar bear is also white. So that the reason it is invisible to us. So the God give the grace, because of the hunter maybe hunt for medical purpose, and sometimes of skin purposes they may be hunted, but because of the way the skin is reflected light, they appear in white. Another cool science fact is about the polar bear. The skin is under furious is actually black in color. So whenever it's split into the skin, it shows black, and so it is can absorb and retain the heat from the sun during the winter, and also the summer times as it may be helpful for that. And another one thing is a dog fact. So this is a what this means is saying is, oh my god, what happened to all the snows is, due to the climate condition, and now American scientists alert and also claim that uh, red alert to June for the US country. The climate has been is completely unsustainable to live for humans. Uh, this things has happened to June. And dog fact. So dogs are greater helper. They can be trained to help people with disability and perform tasks such as hunting and farming, and also the acting as a security breaches. And the dog have amazing sense hearing, and that can be hear sound at 4 times than the distance than the human can. So dog can be understand what other people are saying about and how to communicate with them. So it's also the no sign language of deaf. So this is the Dockine, just put the memes for that. And some facts is about the sun. So if you flew in the space to the sun from moon in the very normal time, you needs to take only 20 years to go to the sun. So first you can see that, right? So the hey sun, he says it's a only memes. Hey earth, hey sun, the sun thought he was the son of the earth. So he says dad. So this is a funny news. And 1 million earth could be certified into sun. So it's really huge, I think. And the other one fact is the sun is a collaborated ball of helium and oxygen gas. So it leads to burn out and give the UV rays to us, so make photosynthesis happen to the plants, and is the heaviest body in our solar system. So ever stop thinking about where is the oxygen come from? First, we can thought most of the oxygen are coming from rainforest. Here we can see the plant making oxygen. So all the media is concentrated on the people's socialist people's concentrated to tree. But actually, what is this? The oceanic plectroplanktons. They are the giving a major role for that, because 70% is oxygen or produces from the picropacta, and our socialists always concentrate on the tree, put the tree and grow up that. First, you ever thought maybe a rainforest, but the marine organisms that take the bite, seaweeds, picropacta, and other photosynthesis product over half of world oxygen as producer. So, due to the lot of countries, according to the Western countries as well, the waste and solid waste management. So, what they're doing is simply putting the graphs into the ocean, center of the ocean, and loss and deviating the biodiversity of oceans. So, it leads to a lot of tsunamis and earthquakes, and biodiversity was completely collapsing. Uh, Wherever we go, just see your name to our Rameshwaram standards. Some people will come and put their clothes to into the ocean and just run out from the ocean. And this is it is a spiritual one thing. Put the wood process into the ocean and come out also from the ocean. They float into the ocean, and sometimes it's deep to the it, and some of the coral leaves as well will be damaged to happen because of the process, and some type of materials as it leads to de-wasting. And Rameswaram is into the Gulf of Mannar. That the reasons as well. Totally, the Gulf of Mannar was 30% is losses. So try to avoid doing this type of things. And another one fact is you can not waste the food without a saliva. Uh, in order for the food to have a taste, the chemical from the food must be first dissolved in the saliva. In our old people says, and also the proverb is right. சாப்பிடும்போது மெல்ந்து சாப்பிடணும். So that's the reasons as they are saying for examples as a saliva buffer, decreasing the concentration of the free hydrogen ion, and there are some saliva proteins as that may bind with the bitter taste substance. So this means it shows money can buy happiness. Yes, it is called a fruit actually. It's one of the funny fact. Everyone is your relative. First, every human being has a 99 percentage of the DNA in common, but a parent and a child share 99.5 percentage of the same DNA, and you have a 98 percentage of your DNA in common with chimpanzees. But these things are same. Then why happen in the Islam and American and some type of countries? So this means to say is right. So if human revolution is real, then eventually all monkeys will be human, right? So this question also was in my mind. I don't know. Charles Darwin says maybe have hold the answer. Theory of revolutions is not that. And the another lost fact is the magistries of the 95 percentage. So only human can see about whether 5 percentage of the matter in universe balance 95 percentage of matters or the dark events. So the rest of the matter is invisible matters, the dark matter, and the mysterious form of energy is known as the dark energy. First, we can see majesties cannot be solved yet. These are the memes. So f by zero. This is the one God grace gift for us. Whenever we can ask the mathematics problems, we will just put the zero. And interior of the black hole. These things as we can see in Interstellar movie, right? In he was going to the inner to surface of the black hole and see the four-dimensional pictures, and he left out from the black holes as well very easily, but I don't know it was real. Christopher Nolan created a lot of things. So in your majesties here, my majesty is upcoming from CIP, that is my majesty. And thank you for your patience listening. Thank you.
Those were really interesting. They were from different journals like Polar Bear, Beat, Coca-Cola, etc. So now let's play another one small game. I will show you some emoticons, and each will represent a city of India. So you have to find it. ஆன்சர் தெரிஞ்சா நீங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஸ்க்ரீன் தெரியுதா?
தெரியுதுப்பா.
ஓகே. Can you see the picture? தெரியுதா?
தெரியுது ராகவி.
ஸோ யாருக்காவது ஆன்சர் தெரியுமா?
பாண்டிச்சேரி.
Yeah, that's the right one.
கேலிக்கட்.
Yeah.
Bombay.
Yes, that's the right one. Next question.
Indore.
Yeah. இதான் லாஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின்.
Bangalore.
Yes, that's the right one. Okay, so now we have come to the last part of our event. A good discussion increases the dimension of everyone who takes part. Let's all get set and listen to the topic discussion by TM Darshini.
Hi all, good evening to Anandal present here. Is my screen is visible? Today we are going to discuss on the topic Indian Independence Act 1947. First introduction. What is that Indian Independence Act and the reason behind this act, why this is came into the force? First, on February 20, 1947, on that time our British Prime Minister was Clement Attlee, declared that would British rule in India would came into force would end by the June 30. So on that, when the date was declared, our Muslim communists demanded that we are not get into the one country, that is India. So we want a separate country. So they demanded for the partition. So only this act was established. On June 3, 1947, Lord Mountbatten put forward the partition plan accepted by Indian National Congress and the member legislation. On June 3, 1947, our Lord Mountbatten put forward the partition because on that time our first Governor General was our Lord Mountbatten. So this act is also known as the Lord Mountbatten Act, and it is established in that
தர்ஷினி,
date. Yes.
ஸ்க்ரீன் விசிபிளா இல்லப்பா.
Screen visible இல்லையா? Screen தெரியல.
இப்போ தெரியுது.
Okay. First, on February 20, 1947, on that time our British Prime Minister was Clement Attlee. They declared the date that British rule came into end on June 30, 1948. When this date was declared, the Muslim communists demanded that we are not came to live in a Indian country, so we want a separate dominion. So for that reason only this act was established. So on June 3rd, 1947, the Lord Mountbatten, who was our first Governor General of Indian country, put forward that the partition, and this partition plan was accepted by our Indian National Congress and also a member legislation. Next, the futures or the provisions of this act. In this act, our British government will leave our India on 15th August 1947, and that time our India will be divided into a two sovereign state. That is, one is India Dominion and then another one is a Pakistan. And then the powers previously exercised by the British government in India will be transferred to both the states. Before independence date was announced, the British follow the certain rules and regulations, and they put the act and provisions. So so after the India and Pakistan state were divided, we can follow the previously used British government powers and rules. And then next is Office of Secretary of State for India will be abolished, because Secretary of State was formed based on our Government of India Act 1858. So on that, Secretary of State for India office should be abolished. And then provision was made for the Governor General for each dominion, who was to be appointed by the Queen of England. And then for India and Pakistan dominions, there were a separate Governor Generals were appointed by our Governor General Mountbatten. And then the relations of the British government with India enforced were to be conducted to the Commonwealth Relation Officer. Who is the Commonwealth Relation Officer? Is our Secretary of the State for India is abolished. So that office, that Secretary of State for India, is converted into the Commonwealth Relation Office. In this Commonwealth Relation Office, there are 15 members. They are called as the Council of India. They were they were become the canal for the canal for both to communicate between the British Parliament and also in Indian administration. These 15 members are the communicators between our British Parliament and then Indian administrations. Next is it discont and both the dominions will have their own constitution assembly, because India and Pakistan are the both domains. They have their own constitution assembly. This constitution assembly which act as a legislature also, because on that because at present we have the parliament. The parliament, when rule or the new rule or the act were abolished, we can provide the draft and then we pass it into a parliament. But on that time there is no parliament. So the main function of the constitution assembly is to make the constitution and also the legislation assembly. So on that time the constitution assembly took part these two functions. And then next is paramountcy of the Britain over India states and tribal areas was come to an end on 15th August 1947. That is, now we want to know about what is the paramountcy. Paramountcy is nothing but on that on British period, our region was divided into a three. First one is British territory, next is princely state, and then next one is tribal areas. That British territory is directly ruled by the British, and then princely state is ruled by the ruler, that is the empire, which was supervised by the viceroy. The viceroy was posted given appointment by the British. And then third is tribal areas. Tribal areas have no rulers and because they are in a forest, so British doesn't bother them. But they are also supervised, but not consistently. They are not supervised. So later that that British territory is come into two dominions, that is India and Pakistan. That princely that princely state is given the choice that they can join with India, or they can join with Pakistan, or they can live independently. So based upon their wish, they can choose their dominion. And then tribal areas is they are in forest, so they can also take their dominions based on their wish. And then next is the King of England was to drop the title of King Emperor of the India. So after that Indian Independence Day Act, the empire was the empire was withdrawn. So instead of the empire, they can choose the Governor General. So first we can see that there was a separate Governor General for India and then Pakistan. Next, on that time there are some civil service and then reservation post by the Secretary State of India. So they can discontinue the reservations for the civil services. But before August 15, 1947, some of the civil servant officers were appointed. So for them, for them for their convenience, they can use the benefits of the civil service till their date, because they have a fixed timeline for the civil servant officers to work on. So till the last time they can use their benefits. And then at the stroke of the midnight of 14 to 15 August 1947, on that time the British came to the end and we can got the independent at the midnight. So only our Pakistan celebrate the Independence Day on 14th August, and our India celebrate the Independence Day on the 15th August. And our first Governor General was on that time. These provisions are given by our first Governor General Mountbatten. After Mountbatten appointed the first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. After the Jawaharlal Nehru, he gave the many. After the Jawaharlal Nehru 1947, we have the separate Constitution Assembly, Rules Act, and then only we can provide then we have the separate Parliament for Indian Dominion and then for the Pakistan Dominion. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and then Jai Hind.
It was really informative. Now I welcome the evaluation master to evaluate the presenters.
Am I audible?
Audible, pa.
Okay, thank you. First, I start with Taskmaster of the Day. டிஎம் ராகவி ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்க. ரொம்பவே நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. ஆக்சுவலி எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது. அண்ட் ரெண்டு ஐஸ் பிரேக்கருமே சூப்பரா இருந்துச்சு. எனக்கு பர்டிகுலரா மென்ஷன் பண்ணோம்னா, அங்க நெட் ப்ராப் வந்தோன்னா அவங்க டிலேலாம் பண்ணாம லைக் டக்குன்னு வந்தாங்க, சயின்ஸ் ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் போலான்னு சொல்லிட்டு அழகா எடுத்துட்டு போயிட்டாங்க. அது எனக்கு பிடிச்சது. அதே மாதிரி செகண்ட் டைம் வந்து போன்ல வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணி லைக் அந்த இன்கன்வீனியன்ஸ் வந்ததும் கரெக்டான இது எதுவுமே நம்ம இதுல ப்ராப் ஆகாத மாதிரி கூட்டிட்டு போயிட்டாங்க. எனக்கு அது ரொம்பவே பிடிச்சது. அண்ட் இட் வாஸ் குட். ஓகேவா, நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து புக் ரிவ்யூ நான் சொல்றேன். பிகாஸ் பப்ளிக் ஸ்பீக்கிங் நான் பேசினால வேற யாச்சும் சொல்லுங்க. புக் ரிவ்யூ வந்து அக்கா பண்ணாங்க, டாஸ்க் மாஸ்டர் மைத்ரி. இட் வாஸ் சோ குட். எனக்கு வந்து அமர் சித்திரகலா புக் எடுத்ததும் ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது. ஏன்னா அதுல அவங்க சொன்ன மெயின் மெசேஜே வந்து லைக் சென்சிட்டிவ் பீப்புள் பத்தியும் சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. அட் த சேம் டைம் லிட்டில் மூமெண்ட்ஸை கூட செரிஷ் பண்ணுவாங்க, அந்த மாதிரி அக்கா மென்ஷனும் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. அந்த பிபிடியும் நைஸா இருந்துச்சு. அண்ட் ஹர் வே ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் வாஸ் டூ குட். லைக்வைஸ் தேர்ட் நான் சொல்லணும்னா சயின்ஸ் ஃபேக்ட்ஸ். அது வந்து விஜய் ரொம்பவே நல்லா பண்ணாரு. லைக் பர்டிகுலரா ஒரு இது மட்டும் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணாம நிறைய விஷயத்த கொண்டு வந்து லைக் எப்பவுமே வந்து நம்ம இந்த லேஸ் இதெல்லாம் சொல்லும் போது என்னடா இவங்க ஏர் ஃபில் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நெகட்டிவா தான் அதை பத்தி ஒரு ஃபேக்ட் சொல்லுவோம். இன்னைக்கு அவர் பாசிட்டிவான ஃபேக்ட், ஆக்சுவல் ஃபேக்ட் சொல்லியிருந்தாரு. லைக் அதுல வந்து நைட்ரஜன் கேஸ் தான் இருக்கு, அது வந்து ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷா வச்சுக்க, அந்த குவாலிட்டி வந்து ஸ்பாயில் ஆகாம இருக்குன்னு சொல்லிட்டு எனக்கு இந்த மாதிரி அவர் ரேரான ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் சொன்னதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது. போலார் பியர்ஸ், டாக்ஸ், அதெல்லாம் நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. அண்ட் லாஸ்டா தர்ஷினி, அவங்க வந்து ரொம்பவே நல்லா பண்ணாங்க டாஸ்க் மாஸ்டர். லைக் ஹிஸ்ட்ரி வந்து சொன்னது எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது. காஸ் யாரும் அதிகமா அதை பேச மாட்டோம். வி ஆல் நோ நைட் தான் கிடைச்சது, பட் அது கிளியரா யாரும் மறந்துடும். ஆக்சுவலி அதை அவங்க எடுத்துட்டு வந்து பேசினதும் நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. அந்த ஸ்லைட்ஸும் ஃபார்மலா வச்சிருந்தாங்க. ஸோ இட் வாஸ் ரியலி இன்ஃபர்மேட்டிவ். ஓவராலாக எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது.
Thank you. So now we have come to the end of the session. So மைத்ரி அக்கா நீங்க ஃபீட்பேக் சொல்றீங்களா?
ஓகேம்மா, ரெக்கார்டிங் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிக்கலாங்க.